Like, those people are barely making it. Like, I've seen people like crawl across the finish line. You don't want to be that person. Hey, if this is your first time watching us, welcome. I'm Army Princess, a U.S. Army soldier, and my family and I love sharing our military life with you, as well as answering your questions. I would love for you to join the platoon by clicking the notification bell below, as well as hitting that subscribe button. That way you never miss an upload from us. And for those of you who've been following us, welcome back. So let's just jump right into it. Let's just jump right into this video, because I know a lot of y'all need the tea on how to pass basic training as far as the physical fitness. And this is, when I say this is a category that so many people have trouble with, myself included. When I first joined the military, running physical fitness was something that I dreaded. It was something that I just thought was like the most horrible, worst thing ever. Why would they do this to me? How am I going to be able to pass my PT test? But over the years, I have become educated on what it takes to run properly, what it takes to pass the PT test, and how to maintain and how to even excel in your PT and as far as running. So for those of you who are about to leave for basic training, this is definitely the video for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. I want to start by saying that running is something that has to be learned. There are so many people who just get out there and start moving fast and they think they're running, but they're really not, and I was one of those people. Running is a learned sport. Seriously, like you look at the Olympic runners, they aren't just getting out there willy-nilly just running. They have trained for this, and this is really something that you all need to keep in mind when you are training and getting ready to go to basic training, especially if you aren't a very physical person to begin with, or you have a very sedentary lifestyle, or you haven't been running and working out, you know, in a long time. So I'm going to say that running is broken down into 3 categories, and you have to master these 3 categories. Category 1 is endurance. Category 2 is consistency, and category 3 is speed. So in order to accomplish what you want to accomplish as far as passing basic training and doing very well on your physical fitness test, you have to master these 3 categories, and I've broken them down for you. Let's talk about endurance. Endurance is being able to go out there and run and not be winded. You know what I mean? Being able to go out there, run, feel good while you're running, run as long as you need to run for, as fast as you need to run for, and still feeling fairly healthy when you finish, not like you about to kill over and die. And like I said, if you look at those Olympic runners, those people train. They build up their endurance so that they're able to run those marathons, and they're able to run the 50-yard dash, you know what I mean, so that they don't feel like at the end they have to throw up and pass out. They have built their body up and built up their endurance to where running is not going to kill them. In order to build endurance, there are things that you need to master, things that you need to focus on so that you can build your endurance. And the first would be breathing. Like I said, you can't just get out there and start moving fast. So for the PT test is 2 miles. 2 miles, and you can go on Google and Google Army apft standards for your age and for your, you know, sex, male or female, because it's different for your age and for your sex. I'm not going to include that information, otherwise it'd be a very, very long video, but go and look up what your minimum 2-mile run time must be. Usually for a female, I'm going to say female from 17 to 21, I believe, if I'm thinking right, it's about somewhere between 18 and 19 minutes to complete a 2-mile run. In order to complete a 2-mile run and have endurance and be able to actually complete it and not feel like you're going to die and throw up at the end, you need to build up your endurance. In order to gain endurance like the Olympic athletes, I tell people to start slow. If you have not ran, if you're not a runner, if you're not physically fit, start slow. So you want to start with, like, say 10 minutes. If you can run for 10 minutes straight, time yourself, see how long it takes you to run that 10 minutes straight. Don't stop. You don't have to do a full out sprint. Just do a light jog, whatever you can do for 10 minutes, and do not stop for 10 minutes. Make sure you time yourself and make sure you keep track of the distance. The next time you go out and run, you want to try to run a little bit further. So if you ran 10 minutes and it took you 3 blocks to run 10 minutes, you're going to try to go for 5 blocks. What you want to try to do is stretch out the distance until you get to 2 miles. You also want to make sure you time that distance. So if you do 5 blocks, maybe it took you 15 minutes to do 5 blocks. You're going to make sure you note that down. The next time you go out and run, try to go for 10 blocks. Maybe 10 blocks took you 17 minutes or 18 minutes to do. Your goal is to try to get up to 2 miles, and you're going to do this consistently. After you've gotten up to 2 miles, and this should probably take you, if you do it consistently, I say minimum 3 days a week for at least a month, you probably can get to 2 miles without too much of an issue. But you have to be consistent, and you have to make sure you're motivated to go further than you did the day before. Once you get up to 2 miles, what you want to do is start timing yourself. So you do 2 miles on a Monday, maybe it take you 25 minutes to do 2 miles. The next time you do 2 miles, you should try to focus on shaving off some of those seconds. So maybe the next time you do 2 miles, it should take you 19 minutes and 30 seconds to do 2 miles. You want to do this consistently until you slowly get down to your 2-mile run time that you need to pass. So if it's 18 minutes and 36 seconds, you need to shave it off all the way down till you get to 18 minutes and 36 seconds. Which brings me into the next category, consistency. I say you need to be consistent. You need to give yourself minimum, ideally, I would say 3 months minimum for somebody who hasn't worked out. You need to do to try to get up to the 2 mile in a month. And that's minimum 3 days a week. Minimum, you need to run 3 days a week to try to get up to that 2 miles in a month. Once you've gotten up to that 2 miles, now you have 2 more months to work on your run time. If you haven't gotten there, maybe you could take a month and a half, and then you take the next month and a half to get to your minimum run time that you need to pass. But 3 months, ideally, I say for somebody who hasn't been running, hasn't been working out, because it might take you a while to even get to 1 mile if you're not a runner. So consistency. Minimum, I say 3 days a week, 4 days a week is ideal, but you guys, you have to be consistent. You cannot go out there and run one mile for 1 day and then come back 2 weeks later and try to do it again. Your body needs to get used to building itself up to being able to run. Because once you get in the military, once you get into basic training, you're going to be running every day. Once you get into the full-blown military, you're going to be doing PT every day, Monday through Friday. And if you go to some of those hula units, you're really going to see some PT. So get in the mindset now that you're joining the military, if that's what you call yourself doing, and start getting disciplined enough to go out there and do what you need to do in order to make it to basic training and pass basic training with a great score. Once you become consistent, once you've got to that 2 miles, now we want to work on ding, 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 speed. Speed is everybody's best friend, because the faster you run on your PT test, the more points you get. The more points you get, the faster you get promoted. The faster you get promoted, the more money in your paycheck. So speed is something that is an issue for a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people barely pass their PT test. Like, they're literally getting pulled across the finish line. Not literally, because nobody can touch you to pass the finish line, but like, those people are barely making it. Like, I've seen people like crawl across the finish line. You don't want to be that person. You don't want to barely make it by the, you know, the hair of your teeth, or whatever they say, whatever the acronym, the phrase is, the skin of your teeth. You don't want to barely make it. You want to be able to say, hey, I passed my PT test in a good time and I'm not even winded at the end. In order to do that, I say you need to incorporate sprints first thing. Once you master sprints, then you can go ahead and put the icing on the cake. I absolutely hate sprints. I hate them. I hate them with a passion. I hate them. But sprints will help your run time. So this is how I do my sprint. I pick a location with a lot of light poles. Like on base, I usually go to the playground or the park, or the parking lot of my hospital has, you know, sporadic light poles. What you need to do is start at a light pole and sprint every other light pole. So I sprint from one light pole to the next, and then from this light pole to the next, I'll jog. And then one light pole to the next, I'll sprint, and then from that light pole to the next, I'll jog. And you want to do this for a good mile is ideal, or for time. Sometimes I do it for like 30 minutes. So however far I can get in 30 minutes, because a lot of times it's not like a straight mile. Like I can't go for a straight mile. It's a square, or the parking lot may curve or whatever. So on my app, it's telling me that I'm going for a mile in 0.5, you know, 1.5 miles. Or I might, if I'm short on time, then I'll try to go for at least a mile. Or if I'm just trying to just smash out a PT session, then I'll go for like 30 minutes straight. But I guarantee you, if you do these sprints, your PT test score gonna be like, dang, what happened? They're gonna be like, what happened? Sprints will help your PT score, but they are no joke. But girl, get you some sprints in there. Get you some sprints. The other thing, now y'all want to hear what the icing on the cake is? You want to hear the other thing? The other thing that's just really gonna take your PT score over the edge? Now heels is one thing that I ain't even really too much got into. Like I do some heels if it's a hilly place, but I'm not finna go looking for no heels. But I know there's a lot of places on different military army base that are known to be hilly. A lot of people like to run and do those PT courses. Your girl here don't like heels, but heels will get your derriere in check, and it will definitely help your PT score. Breathing. Make sure when you're breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. That's one thing that can help endurance. It can help you go far, because you might feel like you can't breathe and you might feel like you have to stop, but really you're just not breathing right. That's something that has to be learned. The other thing is your gear, your shoes. What kind of shoes are you running in? Child, better not be no Air Force Ones and none of these cute little Jordans. No, when I say you need to get you some Asics, ideally you need to go to the running store and get fitted for some good running shoes. You need to get you some good running shoes. And when I say running shoes, some good running shoes that are going to last you a while. Don't know if you can take them to basic training, but when you get done with basic training, you'll have them. And when you get those good running shoes, only use them for running. So they're not going to be cute shoes that you want to go to the mall in and you want to floss with your little boyfriends and girlfriends. Some good running shoes that are going to help support your feet when you run. Form is the other thing. I've seen some people running crazy. People running like this. People running like this. Please focus on your form when you run. Your feet, the ball of your feet should be hitting, and then the front of the feet coming forward. You shouldn't be slapping the pavement. Shouldn't be hearing this when you run. It should be quiet feet. I tell my soldiers, quiet feet. Quiet feet when you run. Make sure you're focusing on form. Make sure you have good shoes. Make sure your breathing is where it should be. And those things alone will really help you run better in general, let alone your endurance. But those are the things that you need to focus on when you're preparing for basic training, and even when you get to your unit. Make sure you focus on those key areas, guys, and I guarantee you, you will pass your PT with flying colors, and you won't have to worry about I don't know if I'm barely gonna make my PT test. All right, that's it, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.
Hey, if you want to see more videos like this, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. Like, what are you waiting on? Go now.